I'm Katie Daryl, and today we are at home and social with Jordan Benjamin, but as the cool kids call him, grandson. Thank you for being here.
Katie, happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Oh, the cool kids. Gotta love the cool kids.
I think that's how the cool kids talk for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, old timey cool kids.
Yeah, cool kids are
Hence
great.
the name grandson. Let me peel the onion on the name first, so that we can kind of get that out of the air, and we can then talk about the music. Your name is Jordan, but you go by the
Yeah.
pseudonym of grandson. What do you prefer to be called?
It depends. Obviously, I record under the name Grandson, and sometimes fans will approach me at shows or like on the street with Jordan, and it'll be disarmingly familiar. I don't really care. You can call me Grandson for the purposes of our conversation, but it doesn't matter. I try to be not too picky. I'm pretty approachable.
When you are in the studio, do you like being called grandson because it kind of method acting? I don't want to use that. It's
Wow.
not method acting, but does it keep
Definitely.
you in the right lane?
Definitely not. I think that if I started making everyone call me grandson in the studio, I think everyone would leave. I think that being a recording artist, there is some degree of commitment you have to who you're portraying, but then for a lot of us, we're portraying ourselves, and not only portraying ourselves, but the most vulnerable versions of ourselves. So it is a really tricky balance of trying to think big and live in your ego and feel like you have something to say that's worth saying, while also making sure that around you is an environment that like nurtures a really like honest, sensitive version of yourself. So in the studio, I'm Jordan. On stage, I'm grandson, and right here, I'm whatever you can think to call me at the moment.
Another thing people can call you is a platinum selling alt rocker.
We'll take that. Yeah,
Congratulations, right?
sure.
Platinum.
Sounds
That's a
nice.
thing, man. You did it.
Shiny, shiny. Yeah, I guess so. I guess so. Thank you.
Does it still come with all the old school bells and whistles that we imagined as kids? Records and frames and like a bottle of champagne. Like, what comes along with being
Yeah.
platinum?
Yeah, like membership to the Illuminati. That was cool.
A
Airport
members only
lounges.
jacket.
That has its perks. No, I mean, unfortunately, I hate to burst anybody's bubble, but you get a fancy little, record in a frame, and then a whole bunch of anxiety to do it again. So it's a pretty cool accomplishment though, and it's really a testament to how a thing that I made has a life of its own and has resonated with people, and for that I'm super, super grateful.
You mentioned anxiety, and I know you were saying it kind of jokingly, but it is true. There is pressure to follow things up. I'm sure that artists feel. Everyone has. There's that old saying that you have your whole life to write your first album and your sophomore album. Hurry up! Can you get it to me in 3 months? Right? There's a lot of pressure put on you once you have success.
Yeah, you hit the ball out of the park. It is you just can't think about it too much. You can't be too cerebral. Like we as artists just need to be operating instinctively and intuit your way through the creative process, because that's what got me here. That's what got any of us here. So I certainly I think the biggest thing that I've learned that I try to impart on other artists coming up is, we get so much anxiety in the build up to a project, in the creating of a thing. You want so badly for it to go the way that in your mind you picture it going, and then by the time anything happens and you have an opportunity to celebrate, you're so busy thinking about the next thing, or you're so wrapped up in, well, did it feel how I wanted it, or what about this person to the neck to the on the other side of me. And the biggest thing I can offer as advice to anybody, and it's outside of the creative field too, just in your life and your job and your relationship, is celebrate those little wins, because life is just comprised of them. I can't always promise that my next thing will be bigger than my biggest thing, or accomplishments will feel like it. But your ability to celebrate yourself and be generous with yourself, I think has really helped my mental health. It's helped my career, and it's made me a generally like happier, more grateful person, learning how to appreciate the little wins as they come, as hard as it is sometimes.
How do you store and file projects that aren't completed? Like, do you have a messy desktop and there's just like little icons everywhere, or do you have an actual neat folder that's like my to-do list, things I should finish, and then there's like 80 epic
Right.
half-finished songs in there?
It's true. I'm a very disorganized person creatively. Yeah, it is kind of cluttered, just different ideas in different places. But so far, it all seems to be working. So I try not to optimize too much. Sometimes you can like throw out the baby with the bathwater. I don't even know if that's like a PC phrase anymore, but
Yeah.
I don't want to
Yeah,
throw out babies. I know that's not what I stand for, but I'm just saying that sometimes you can, in trying to make yourself so efficient and optimized. I don't want my studio to look like an Apple store. You know, it doesn't need to be
yeah.
too 2001 Space Odyssey. So yeah, there is kind of folders of lyrics on the table and an instrument that isn't hung up on the floor that somebody could break at any moment, and the chaos kind of like works with me.
Well, and what about a list of names? We'll talk about the collaborations that you've done recently with Tom Morello, Kesha, Travis Barker. Name drop, name drop, name drop. Do you have a list of to do? Got to call up
Yeah,
so and
yeah,
so
I'm not.
today, and
I mean, it's a lot of it's on my phone at this point. I hate to, shatter anybody's perception of what rock and roll looks like, but a lot of it's like notes on my phone, email exchanges. I do still journal relentlessly. And so sometimes when I go back and read things I was going through earlier in my life, I would read about from my own, mental health, going, wow, how great would it be one day to be able to work with Tom Morello?
Mhm.
Coming home wasted when I was 20 years old listening to Timber by Kesha. And so now to come full circle and have already worked with a lot of those people, it is cool. And I think as I move forward into my second album, into a new chapter in my career, it is about continuing to think big, because when I first started making music and first started finding a voice that was resonating with people around the world who felt the way I felt about themselves and about the world, it was never promised, never guaranteed. And it was insane for me to be this kid living in Toronto, thinking one day I'm going to be able to tell this story and advocate for people on the scale that I have. And so now I need to be as bold and daring and imaginative as I was when I was a child, and accessing that inner child and continuing to be ambitious, because I've only really just begun. So it is a really interesting thing about being an artist. It's quite humbling, but yeah, you need to continue to tap into what's next and how can I think even bigger. So I got a list. It's
Yeah.
in here and it's in here.
Um, Loaded question, because the answer could probably be an hour long. But you mentioned finding people who identify and relate to who you are and how you see the world. Who are you? How do you see the world? What's going on with you right now, and what's on your mind?
Sure.
In 30 seconds or less. No.
I'm grandson. I'm a singer songwriter, and I try and alchemize some of the confusion growing up, believing in my right to exist, the right to exist for anybody, while struggling to fit that into a world that can be quite uh, like selfish and for profit. Sometimes the incentives that this system, this world have set up are not for the betterment of the people living in it. Um, and so some of our anger and our hurt and our fear from all sides of the spectrum comes from that fitting out and feeling misunderstood. So what I'm here to do is to provide a soundtrack to the process of you kicking back against that system and finding your own voice, finding your own sense of purpose, in a world that often doesn't love you like that. That's what I try to do. And throughout my career and throughout my work, I've tried to use my platform to, like I said, just be a soundtrack for and a sounding board for people who are working on becoming their best self, people who are standing up for others, whether that's teachers, unions, activists. I try and merely be an expression of their resilience and their power. And in doing so, I find service and I find meaning. And so that's what compels me to make art, and that's what compels me to do the work that I do.
For those of you just joining us, I'm Katie Daryl. He is grandson. Let's talk about Tom Morello. You've collaborated with some fantastic people. Tom, as of late, I believe you actually just had a performance on Jimmy Fallon with him. The song that you guys performed was called Hold the Line. And it was described, I think you may have been quoted, or Tom, about this song and having people having compassion fatigue and activist burnout. I love both of those phrases. And I had never even thought about it too much, you know? And this song is fantastic. And I'd love you to walk me through the relationship, the writing process, and the song Hold the Line.
Yeah, Hold the Line is a song I wrote for Tom Morello's most recent album. Tom is somebody who has been in the public eye, raising money and standing up with and for activists and those on the front lines of social justice for decades. And in conversations with him, we've talked about how draining that can be. A lot of work that is required to make ourselves the best version of ourselves does not match up with our common desire for instant gratification. So a lot of the work in social justice, in community building, in accountability in society is generational. You know, it takes years, and sometimes our desire to express all that in the 15 minutes we get on social media before everybody loses interest can be exhausting. It can be deflating and discouraging. So what this song was about was just trying to motivate people to hold through that discomfort and continue to push until that progress is made. Yeah, it's a theme song for people who are on the front lines, who are doubting themselves. Just a reminder to keep going. And we performed the song on the Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon. It was a really cool experience, and we were able to auction off the guitar that Tom played and raise money for sustenance on the front line, giving people a warm meal, giving people something to look forward to, for all of the thousands of striking workers across America fighting for a fair deal with the companies that they work for. So it's a song that is about that empowerment, and we are now, through our performance on the Tonight Show, able to tell a story where that song actually turned into doing something for those people with that burnout. So it was really a special moment for me.
For those of you just tuning in, I'm Katie Daryl. He's grandson. You are watching At Home and Social on Access TV. Let's talk about some artists that have used their music and political voices in the past. And word association. When I say the artist name, just kind of what do you think of? Is there a song? Is there a vibe? What do you think of? Arlo Guthrie.
Arlo Guthrie. Don't know much about Arlo Guthrie, but shouts out Woody Guthrie, Oklahoma legend. Wasn't for him, we would not have activist folk music, and nobody would have cool stuff written on the side of their guitars.
All right. What about Bob Marley?
Bob Marley, I love that you included him. He transcends activism and protest music, and so fluidly could walk behind love and passion and feeling good while also fighting for justice and equality. He is the North Star for anybody trying to write songs, politics or not.
Bob Dylan.
Bob Dylan, same school of Woody Guthrie, acoustic, folk, a dreamer, blowing in the wind. Come on. I Shall Be Released. Incredible. Yeah, great.
And how about John Lennon?
John Lennon, controversial, louder than life, but transcendent, so creative and imaginative, and I think Imagine is one of the best songs ever written.
Very good. For those of you joining us again, I'm talking to Grandson. I'm Katie Daryl. Grandson, I want to talk about the weird fuzzy Yeti puppet guy in the video of Drop Dead. So this is the song that you did with Kesha and Travis Barker. I don't know. I don't even know if I'm describing this music video puppet guy. It's a plushy, furry Yeti. What is it in this video?
You guys got to go watch it for yourselves. Basically, we wanted to tell the story of somebody whose inner demons live on the outside. So many of us walk through life looking normal, but on the inside, there's like a monster that we're battling that like compels us to get in fights with the people that we love, push people away. I've certainly battled that in my life. So in the video, we take that monster and put it on the outside of a person who is at rock bottom. And we try to tell the story of if you just keep doing the work on yourself, even if you don't get the results right away, you will meet other people who are committed to improving themselves, and slowly but surely you will see progress. And again, so much of my music is about empowering people and giving you on the other side of this lens a sense of agency over your own life. And that's what my song Drop Dead's about. And that's what this really silly music video is about.
I'd rather drop dead than be a quitter. I mean, that's the line out of the song. Is that a line and something that you had said prior to this song? Was that a mantra of yours, or was this something that came out of you in the writing room in the process?
Absolutely. It's just, whether it's addiction, mental health, my career, relationships, I've given up on myself so many times in life. And I know so many of us have, even just going through 2 years of this pandemic. It's so easy to ask, what's the point of showing up for work every day? What's the point of eating well and doing the things are good for you when you're waiting for release. And I just, again, what I stand for is just giving you one song or one moment that compels you to last one more day before you give in to that voice in your head. And that's what Drop Dead's all about.
Why was it great to work with Travis Barker?
It was great to work with Travis because he knows what he's doing and he's really good at it. There's a reason he's ubiquitous in pop music, rock music, alternative music, because he's extremely creative. He makes you feel really comfortable when you're working with him. And he's really good at the drums. And he hit them really hard that day. So getting to work with him, getting to work with Kesha was really exciting, cool opportunity. And I found both of those people that I once looked up to and never could have imagined working with to be like disarmingly humble and charming and creative. And they both made me feel like I'm a rock star. And that's the most you could ask for a collaborator.
Grandson, thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you guys for having me. And you can find me online at Grandson. Death of an Optimist out now. Peace.
Hey there, thanks for watching Access TV. Subscribe, follow, like, and do all the good stuff. And make sure you leave a comment below. I don't know, just let us know what your favorite Access TV show is, or who your favorite bands are, and what artists you're into, or just say hi, man. I'd like to be told hi. We love hearing from you. That's the point, all right? Keep it coming.